Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Jessica Jalal.
And I'm Talea Munson. We have a great show for you today.
Tonight, a Texas family is in mourning after losing their loved one. There are now 10 fatalities in the Astroworld tragedy. 22-year-old Barty Shahani was critically injured at the Astroworld Festival in Houston 2 weeks prior. Shahani's family says that she was studying electronics systems engineering at Texas A&M University and was set to graduate next spring.
I'm worried about my two daughters and my wife, what will be the impact on them after we lost our precious angel.
Neuqua Valley High School students paid tribute to Franco Patino and Jacob Jurenick, who both passed away in the crowd during the Astroworld tragedy. CNN's Ravi Bachwal has the details.
A united front, each player walking out, linked together 2 by 2.
Regardless if they're a former student or a current student, the community is 110% behind helping the families get through everything and helping the students get through everything. It's not something easy.
The team heading onto the field for the first time.
The Neuqua Valley community suffered great loss
Since 2 of their former teammates tragically passed away.
We ask you to remain standing as we take a moment of silence.
The Neuqua Valley High School community remembering the 2 best friends, Franco Patino and Jacob Jurenick. They were among the 50,000 people who went to Houston last week Friday for the Travis Scott concert. They both died while in the crowd.
It's been a wild 7 days for many with the passing of Franco and Jacob.
Their tribute on the field by their alma mater coming the same day that family and friends held a visitation in Naperville for Patino.
I'm praying for you. You're not going through this alone at all.
2 friends now gone, but their impact promised to always be felt by those who knew them.
It's a moment for us to realize that we need to rely on one another, and I think many people are starting to come together and realize that.
Let's take the time to honor the lives lost at the festival and do everything we can to tell their stories.
With that sad story, I sure hope the weather isn't gloomy.
I agree. It was looking nice this way to the studio this morning, but hopefully it stays sunny. Let's check with our weather anchor, Sydney. Sydney.
Well, Talea and Jessica, our sunny skies are expected to stay for today and tomorrow, and we are even seeing temperatures above normal warmth. But let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions in Denton. Right now, we are sitting at 69 degrees. It does feel a little bit warmer at 72 due to our conditions being pretty sunny, and our wind speeds are at 7 miles per hour. Now let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's conditions. Around 6 p.m. it will be 70 degrees and it will feel a little bit cooler at 68 with our wind speeds being at 6 miles per hour. Now let's go ahead and take a look at tomorrow's conditions. Tomorrow it will be fairly warm with our temperature being at 74 and it will feel about the same at 73 with our wind speeds at 16 miles per hour coming in from the south. That is it for our first look. Make sure to stay with us for our full weather forecast later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Sydney. This month, Willis Library is celebrating its 50th birthday.
Let's go over to ntTV's Leslie Juarez, who has more on one of the most important parts of any university, the library.
Thanks, ladies. That's right. And while many people will say it's just a library, this building is an integral part of the UNT community.
I come here all the time to get my homework done, and so it's a really good place to crack down and focus on what I need to get done, or to just pass the time and pretend I'm doing my homework. Either way, I just spend a lot of time here.
But it's a lot different than the union, where it's more loud and distracting, and so here we can all be in this big group and kind of get our work done, and especially now during finals are coming up, and I have 3 research papers that I need to work on.
Willis Library 1971 and was decorated with brightly colored furniture and paint across the walls. The original architects thought having each floor a different bright color would make it easier for students to distinguish which floor they are on. Today, Willis still has a different tone for each floor, but now it is different volumes that distinguish which floor students are studying on. The first floor being the quietest, the second being a little louder, and the third being full volume. Today, Willis still stands as a place for students to congregate, work, and even just hang out. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Leslie. Coming up next, Steve Bannon steps forward to authorities regarding the Capitol riots on January 6th.
And a nonprofit organization uses $5K to raise funds to fight cancer in the name of John Wayne.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon is expected to turn himself in to authorities. This is on federal criminal charges for contempt of Congress. Bannon was indicted by a federal grand jury after refusing to comply with a subpoena from the committee that investigated the fatal attack by Trump supporters on the Capitol early this year. There are speculations that Bannon had specific knowledge ahead of time about the events that took place on January 6th. If convicted, Bannon faces a minimum of 30 days and a maximum of 1 year in jail for each count against him.
As the search for missing college student Brendan Santo continues, friends and family host a visual in his name. Whereas Javid, CNN reports.
Prayers continue for the safe return of 18-year-old Brendan Santo. One of the organizers, Amy King, says at 10 this morning, family, friends, teammates, as well as the Rochester Hills community all stood united at Santos' former high school.
We had a vision to bring the community together to just pray for hope and awareness and peace for Brendan and his family and for the whole community.
The Grand Valley State University student Brendan Santo was visiting friends at MSU the weekend of the Michigan versus Michigan State football game. He vanished after walking back to a friend's dorm Friday, October 29th, just before midnight. The disappearance has left everyone perplexed and concerned.
My wife and I came here today for Brendan and his whole family. I think as parents, we can relate. Our son grew up with Brendan and played hockey with Brendan, and
Various law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, have conducted searches. In fact, tomorrow morning at 10, a civil search will take place in East Lansing. So far, police do not suspect foul play. And according to the Facebook page Bring Brendan Santa Home, the teen was not depressed or unhappy with his home or school life and is very close with his parents. Meanwhile, the reward for anyone with credible information that leads to bringing Santo home has been increased from $5,000 to $11,000.
It has been over 2 weeks since his disappearance, but police have not given up the search yet.
American journalist Danny Fenster has been released from a Burmese jail. The 37-year-old was detained while trying to leave the country to visit family in the U.S. and has been imprisoned since May 24th. He was released when former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson negotiated with Myanmar's Commander-in-Chief General Min Aung Hlaing. He did this face-to-face while on a humanitarian trip.
A concert in Minnesota revealed that the winter season is finally here. Chris Stapleton fans commented on their experience battling the snowstorm. CNN's Ren Clayton reports.
Feel awesome. It's about time.
I do not feel the same.
Chris Stapleton fans were willing to weather the storm on their way to the concert downtown.
What was the traffic like?
Bad down here. It's crazy. Everybody's trying to get to US Bank Stadium.
The metro area's first accumulating snow falling on relatively warm roads.
We do have snowplows out around the Twin Cities metro, sort of keeping an eye on conditions because areas like bridges, ramps, those are traditionally colder road temperatures, so they tend to freeze faster.
But in west central Minnesota, the roads are in much more severe condition.
So it's keeping law enforcement responders very busy, responding to a number of crashes, spinouts, jackknife semis, and things like that.
These are just some of the accidents from the middle of the state, where drivers dealt with dangerous situations.
Roads are in obvious poor conditions. We do see a number of people driving too fast for obvious poor conditions, driving outside their abilities. We just need everybody to slow down and take their time.
With winter finally upon us, the Department of Transportation says use caution.
Even though roads look wet or maybe dry for a little while, it's not unheard of to have slick spots pop up. So that's why we encourage drivers just to slow down and really pay attention out there.
Well, with all those bad driving conditions, let's hope the concert was at least a success.
As we get closer to the holiday season, I wonder if Texas is going to see those holiday temperatures.
I wonder that too, but here to tell us all about things weather is our expert Sydney. Sydney, will we be seeing any cold temperatures in the forecast?
Thanks to Leia and Jessica, our temperatures are still fairly warm and they're not expected to drop until mid-December. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what this week has in store for us. Currently looking at our temperatures across North Texas, we can see that our temperatures are ranging from the high 60s and the low 70s. Our warmest point is going to be in Stephenville at 74, and our cooler points are going to be up in Paris at 66 degrees. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our current conditions across the state. Again, we are seeing very warm temperatures. Our warmest points are going to be down in Austin at 81 and down in Houston at 78, which are in the southern parts of the state. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our full weather forecast. Our week will look fairly sunny, but will remain breezy throughout the week. On Monday and Wednesday, we will be sitting at temperatures in the high 70s. After Wednesday, our temperatures will drop, with the lowest point being on Thursday at 33 degrees. Our weekend is looking fairly chilly, but it is going to be cloudy, so if you are going out, make sure that you do wear thicker clothing. That is it for our full weather forecast. Back to you guys at the desk.
The historic Fort Worth Stockyards hosted a 5K run this weekend in honor of John Wayne, the famous Hollywood actor who struggled with both lung cancer and stomach cancer, the latter of which caused his death in 1979. 500 runners and walkers came out and raised $70,000 for the John Wayne Cancer Foundation. Wayne's family started this nonprofit because he was passionate about helping others fight the disease. The foundation is where a lot of technology used today were developed. Some of these include vaccine therapy and monoclonal antibodies. The foundation focuses on research and has trained more than 200 doctors.
1 million children under the age of 12 have now received the COVID-19 vaccine.
And the Biden infrastructure bill is set to be signed by President Joe Biden sometime today. More details when we come back.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
When you park in front of the ramp, somebody can't make it up the ramp. When somebody can't make it up the ramp, they miss their class. When they miss their class, they fail their final. When they fail their final, they drop out of school. If you drop out of school, you get a face tattoo from a guy named Scorpion. Don't get a face tattoo from a guy named Scorpion. Be courteous. Don't block wheelchair ramps.
COVID shots for kids have reached a milestone. 1 million kids under the age of 12 have now received their first dose of the vaccine 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago is when the FDA authorized the COVID vaccine for children from the ages of 5 to 11. Currently, 195 million people have been fully vaccinated in the U.S., which is 59% of the population. Additionally, data shows that 15% of fully vaccinated people have received a booster shot.
COVID cases are once again on the rise. According to Johns Hopkins University, about 82,000 cases are being reported each day. That's up 11% over the daily average from 2 weeks ago. So far, 20 states are seeing a rise in cases. Some of the highest include Minnesota, North Dakota, and Alaska. The good news is that COVID-related deaths and hospitalizations are down from 2 weeks ago. We have yet to see how the rise in cases will affect those numbers. Hopefully, the number of deaths will continue to decrease.
After months of back and forth, the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill is to be signed by President Joe Biden today. CNN's John Loring has the story.
The Biden White House says the infrastructure package will deliver for American families. The legislation includes $550 billion for roads, bridges, ports, airports, and mass transit.
Is the most significant step that we will have taken in decades to actually invest in the arteries that help move goods more quickly through our economy, more cheaply through our economy.
13 House Republicans crossed party lines in voting to back the bill with a majority of Democrats.
Lindsey Graham, President Trump's favorite top Republican in the Senate, supported this bill when it passed 69 to 30. We need roads and highways, let me tell you. This was a bipartisan plan. It needed to happen.
Now that the marathon infrastructure bill is approaching the finish line, the White House is focusing on its Build Back Better plan.
We are confident that Speaker Pelosi is going to bring it up and that it will pass this week.
But some say that might be a bridge too far.
I don't think the votes are there yet. A good number of Democrats demanded and are going to receive a CBO report as to whether is it really paid for. What does it do when you expand Medicare? What does that do to the solvency?
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
New data shows that consumer prices in October were 6.2% higher than last year, which makes this the biggest year-over-year price inflation since 1990. As the semester begins drawing to a close with finals and projects coming in strong, a good break is needed for some quality rest time. What's out there that is enjoyable and relaxing, but also thought-provoking at the same time?
I can help with that, Jess. To all movie enthusiasts out there, this event is for you. The UNT Art House Film Series has been hosting lesser-known films on different varying days that fit into many busy schedules. Lydia, what more can you tell us about it?
Well, I can say that the Art House Film Series hits close to home as it takes place within the heart of campus itself. That's right, the Lyceum Theater in the Union is holding weekly and sometimes bi-weekly independent film screenings. They will be taking place in the evenings, normally around 6 p.m. And the best part, the movies are free, with popcorn to enjoy as you watch the movie. The films to be shown give movie lovers something to look forward to as final season approaches.
Although UNT's Art House Film Series is quite a simple event, what would be not much different from going to a regular movie theater, it is spread throughout the semester with quirky independent films ranging from new releases to cinema classics. The Lyceum in the University Union is a perfect place for movie lovers to enjoy and walk away with something to talk about.
We watch all the trailers and sort of narrow down the lists of options that are available and try to pick the most compelling and also like most recently released or about to be released independent films.
Since a little kid, I've always loved watching movies, and coming to the movies by myself is actually one of my favorite hobbies. It's a fun way to just escape reality, and I don't really like going out much, like going to social events, so something like this is just perfect for me.
The Art House Film Series is a little different when it comes to scheduling. They opt into choosing a different time every week in order for the most students to be able to come so that their other activities would not be affected.
I mean, I'm getting older, but my student employees, they help make sure the stuff we're choosing is relevant and something the students are going to enjoy.
Movies are provided with fresh, free popcorn to snack on. For anyone that's interested, the Lyceum in the Union is present with its unique, dazzling films.
This is great. I'm more than happy to clear some time in my schedule for a fun, peaceful evening. That is all I have for today. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Lydia. UNT Homecoming was this weekend, and Talea, it seemed like it was a lot of fun.
Yes, I got the chance to go, and it was so exciting, and the game was really intense. Let's get more details from our sports anchor, Caleb. Caleb.
I'll talk about the exciting homecoming game and more after this.
Hey, listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
Oh hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
I hope you went to the homecoming game this weekend, because if you didn't, you sure missed out on a good game. The Mean Green played against UTEP, who came into the game with 6 wins. If the Mean Green wanted to win the game, they would have to play great defense and do just enough on offense to edge them out. They did just that. At the end of the 4th quarter, North Texas had one last possession with the game tied at 17. On 3rd and 8, Austin Awney threw the ball to DeTravion Brown for 58 yards. With 7 seconds left on the clock, Ethan Mooney kicked the game-winning field goal. North Texas won 20-17. Unfortunately, the Mean Green women's basketball team did not have the same success. After winning their first 2 games, North Texas fell to Missouri State. The game was close the whole time, but in the 4th quarter, the Mean Green couldn't get in front. The last time North Texas was ahead was with 7 minutes and 10 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The basketball team hopes to bounce back next game against UT Arlington. The women's team will hope to bounce back like the Cowboys did this weekend. After losing badly to the Broncos last week, Dallas returned the favor to the Falcons. The Cowboys won 43-3. The 3 points the Falcons scored happened early in the 1st quarter. Dallas only scored 7 points in the quarter, but in the 2nd they scored 29 points. Last week, the Cowboys couldn't move the ball, but this week they did anything and everything they wanted to. The blowout win improves Dallas's record to 7-2. Back to y'all at the desk.
94-year-old Ellen Hinman has been doing something good for the tiniest patients at Baylor Scott and White Irving. She has been knitting little hats and donating them to the newborn intensive care unit. Each hat takes her about 3 days to finish, and she was able to meet one of the newborns. It's the gift that keeps on giving, as the yarn from the hats were donated to her assisted living facility.
And now, some relief comes to a family from Scotts Valley, California, thanks to their front door Ring camera and a good-natured jogger. Their pets and home were saved from a fire. Reporter Phil Gomez from CNN has the story.
Running back and forth, so I answered it, and he said,
"Hello, yeah, do you read the smoke coming out of the top of your house?"
Courtney Polito heard the smoke alarms going off and gave this man the code to get inside to rescue their 2 dachshunds, a rabbit and cat. Polito says if the mystery jogger hadn't been there, they would have lost everything.
the fire department said 10 more minutes and the house would have been gone.
What amazed the family is the stranger didn't hesitate at all to go inside the burning house.
It takes a special kind of person to go into a burning house to save animals and all this, you know?
Because of the jogger's actions, the fire was contained to the garage. There is smoke damage throughout the house, damaged cabinets, and destroyed Christmas presents. This Chevy Blazer was damaged too.
This was a first for our agency where someone had used like a Ring doorbell system to kind of alert the 911 system and the homeowners.
Before the Polito family could thank the Good Samaritan, he took off. They asked us to blur out his face because they believe he may be a humble hero. He was wearing a yellow t-shirt with a star in front and on the back, a dark beanie with what looks like Arizona on it, and he also had an accent.
I want to give him a hug, I'll buy him lunch, I'll buy him dinner. I don't know, I want to just thank him so much and let him know how thankful we are. My kids, myself, my husband, we would be devastated if we lost our pets, let alone our home.
What a relief for that family. I'm so glad that there was someone there to save the day. Thanks for watching ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tomorrow for the latest coverage here at North Texas Television.